everyone, welcome to Unacademy. This is Astha Raut, your educator, and I'm doing my post-graduation in English Literature from Ramadevi Women's University, Bhubaneswar. So this is the third course that we are going to do, and it's on Coleridge. The first lesson deals with the life and works of Coleridge. I hope you like it. So do not forget to follow me on Unacademy. Thank you.
Well, along with Wordsworth, Coleridge is the co-founder of Romantic movement. Coleridge's poems were few in number, but they showed the romantic features at its best. The first feature we are going to discuss here would be the humanitarianism and the love of liberty. Like Wordsworth, Coleridge too had dreams of political regeneration of mankind and had a great enthusiasm for the French Revolution. His love for humanity is expressed in reflections of having left a place of retirement, where he bids farewell to his cottage in order to go to the city and work for relieving people of their distress. He condemns the theoretical lovers of mankind who do nothing practical for humanity. In the Ode to France, he regrets the failure of French to live up to their revolutionary ideals. Fears in Solitude expresses his love for mankind and his abhorrence for injustice and humanity. So the next feature we are going to see is imagination. The quality which distinguishes the poetry of the beginning of 19th century, the poetry which we can roughly group together as the Romantic poetry, is the quality of its imagination, and its quality is seen as a kind of atmosphere which adds strangeness to the beauty. It reawakened the sense of beauty and strangeness in natural things, and in all the impulses of the mind and all the senses. Poetry was realized as a personal confession or as a evocation, or you'd say as an instant made eternity. At countless points, the universe of sense and thought acquired a new potency of response, an appeal to the man, a new power of ministering to and mingling with the richest and the interest of the life. On one hand, where Wordsworth was the poet of peculiar mystic idealism, who disclosed in a rapt communion with nature, on the other hand, Coleridge was allured to rarer and remoter tracts of humanity, lurking places of strange dreams and fantastic anomalies of belief. What he aimed at was the emancipation of the world and of the mind, well as the vehicle of poetry from the bondage of fact, opinion, formality, and tradition, and the right to look through. The next and the most important feature of Coleridge was the reflection of supernatural in the imagination. Coleridge was always peculiarly engaged with the inquiry into the reality, by which poetic imagination gives an air of reality to the marvelous. It was his critical ingenuity which conceived the design of a series of poems of two sorts, the one a common subject such as we found in every village, poetically treated, but the other of subjects mainly of supernatural, but made real by the dramatic truth of emotions, supposing them real. He was peculiarly fascinated by the interception of the spiritual world, the strangling branches of marvel which startle and waylay the observer. He looked into the void and found it peopled with presences. His was the uncommon eye that beheld the unseen. With rare felicity of phrase and imagery, he made the supernatural natural, giving the unreal, weird, and mysterious phenomena of this world a sense of actuality and substance. In his works like Christabel and the Rime of Ancient Mariner, we see a use of very brilliant supernatural elements there. But on the other hand, all of those supernatural elements appear to be very real and very subtle in his style. So that is what was the speciality of Coleridge. He made the supernatural appear real through his imagination. So next up in the features we have the medievalism. Well, Coleridge took upon himself to treat of the supernatural in such manner as it gives it a semblance of truth and to procure for it a willing suspension of disbelief for the movement. To accomplish this, Coleridge often goes back to the Middle Ages to create the necessary background for the supernatural characters and incidents. The romanticism in Coleridge consists, among other things, in his introduction of medieval elements in his poetry, which enabled him to call up all the magic and enchantment from a distant past. Christabel, of course, has a palpably medieval atmosphere, and the ballad form that is used in the Ancient Mariner and in Love is also an influence of the medieval literary tradition. Thus, the medievalism plays an important role in the works of Coleridge. So next upon we have nature, which is one of the most important features of all romantic poets, but Coleridge does a very minute description from the nature and he portrays that in his work. Closely connected with this quality was the power of observing and depicting the subtle aspects of nature richly and faithfully. The beauties of nature, the cloud, the furs, the dew, all are drawn with delicate feeling, full of half-lights and elusive suggestions. Well, Stanford Brooke praised Coleridge by saying the perfect pictorial skill and truth of his descriptions. Let's say, for example, in the Ancient Mariner, it's full of word pictures, where there is no breeze, the ship is motionless, it is all idly painted. It appears like to be an idle painted ship on a painted ocean. We have several pictures like the moving moon going up in the sky and the star those are in the two besides of the ship. All these are distinctive notes of Coleridge's nature pictures. It dwells upon the uncommon and the rare phenomenon of nature. Coleridge also refers to a divine spirit behind nature and to the moral and shaping influence which she exercises over those who seek her company. Or in other words, we can say, if we are happy, nature seems happy to us. If we are dejected, nature also looks dejected. So nature therefore has no moods and feelings of her own. We receive from nature only that which we have in ourselves. This belief finds expression in his dejection and ode. His love for nature makes him give us beautiful pictures of it. He has a preference for all uncommon and rare phenomena of nature, and we with no doubt see that in all his works. Well, the next feature we are going to discuss is the lyricism. Well, Coleridge he was a great musician. His best poems are marked by delightful melody. He has been called an epicure in sounds or the lover of melody. The Ancient Mariner illustrates all his love for music. The alliteration and the simplicity of words he has used adds to the melody of the lines and suggests that they are done with a very swift manner. The artistic use of the repetitive words is noteworthy in his works. In the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, Coleridge attained the highest level of verbal music ever reached by any English poet. And this he did by the use of simplest words as possible. The poem is perfect in rhythm, sound, and cadence, and magical in its metrical felicities. Well, there is no second thought when we say that he was the master of harmony, and his work Love also illustrates the same. Well, now that we have come to the end of the lesson, I would say Coleridge may be called as the most romantic of the poets in the Romantic Revival. His poetry, more than even that of Wordsworth, shows the unfolding of the process of Romantic Revival. His His early poems are more or less experimental, but they show his ardent delight in natural beauty and his self-consciousness as an artist. Thus, all the features of the Romantic Revival are fully manifested in the poetry of Coleridge. In his poetry, there is bold adventure, joy of discovery, romance of action and everything. There is a glamour of untraveled regions, elements of mystery and marvel. There is also nature in variety of moods, familiar, weird, tender, and gay, dissolute, soothing, and every other variety of moods that you can find. So it won't be wrong if we say Coleridge's poetry, romanticism attend a fullness of complexity, thus making him one of the best romantic poets. So that's all in this lesson. I hope you liked it. We'll be discussing about Coleridge's life and his works along with his different shades of life. So I hope you'll be liking it also. So keep following me on Unacademy and I'll be coming up with more interesting stuffs. Thank you.